Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and I'm taking care of business. Joining me today is Dan Kelly, President and CEO, of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Dan, you're calling on the federal government to temporarily open the foreign worker program. Tell us why.
Well, look, as we come out of the pandemic, labor shortages are evolving as one of the top issues of concern to small businesses. Labor shortages, rising inflation, supply chain issues, those are right at the top of the small business list. If you're not able to capitalize on an open market at this stage, as your business is finally out of lockdowns, finally out of restrictions, but now you don't have the people to be able to serve your customers, you're hooped. You're not going to be able to get your business back to normal. So the other thing we have to remember is that for many, many businesses, they lost a lot of people, not because the business didn't do anything, but because governments forced them to close down or limited their capacity. So they didn't need people. And then those folks went on to find jobs in other parts of the economy.
Yeah.
So we need to get some people back. And this issue is there, as you and I have spoken about over the years. This certainly was there pre-pandemic, but right now it's absolutely acute, and many, many sectors are really struggling to find the workers that they need.
Tell us some, give us a bit of context here, Dan, about how bad the situation is and what your members are showing these days.
So 55% of our members, over half across Canada, are telling us that they do not have enough people to get the job done. And it's not just a shortage of skills, it's also a shortage of general labor, including in entry-level positions or semi-skilled positions. So, we've been long predicting this. We knew that some of this was happening. Canada's declining birth rate is a chunk of the problem. The fact that we're getting older is a chunk of the problem. There's just not a lot of people, especially as an example, taking the hospitality industry. I mean, there's not a lot of young people lining up for jobs in restaurants and in hotels and other places, and especially in resort communities. This is even more of a problem in Banff and other resorts, and I mean, they don't have anyone on which they can draw to get the job done. So foreign workers are a big piece of this. Immigration has been slowed during the pandemic. We're back to, I think, normal levels of immigration now, and with plans, the Liberals have plans to increase that even further. That's good news. But our view is that we really need a boost in the temporary program. A lot of the changes to the labor market for hospitality, retail, the service sector, those were brought about by government policies that sent many of those employees looking for jobs in other sectors. We need governments now to say, okay, you're hard hit, you need people. If there's nobody in your local community, we're going to give you permission to hire some people from overseas. But for those lower skilled and semi-skilled occupational categories, you really can't access the temporary foreign worker program in most cases. You're only able to perhaps find a few jobs like cooks to fill those jobs overseas. So we're asking the government to expand the scope of the temporary foreign worker program, ensure that those applications are processed quickly so that we can allow small businesses to get back on track.
Anything else you're asking for in regards to this area? That the government,
yeah, look, we need governments to look at all of the many tools they have in the labor market. Obviously, we need better skills training, incentivizing businesses to hire people and ensuring that they have the money to do it. It is tough for a small business that has had no resources, as in fact deeply in debt now coming out of COVID, to try to ante up more money to try to meet the wage expectations for workers. Wages are absolutely a part of this, there's no question about it, but businesses have been digging deep to try to improve wage and benefit levels across the economy. One of the programs that we do like, the Canada Recovery Hiring Program, that one is a good one. We're pleased that the federal government has that in place. We probably need it to be extended a little bit longer. That provides a 50% subsidy for those businesses that have at minimum a 10% loss in revenues at this stage. That would be a lot of businesses that could access that. And for the small business owners that are listening to us, Mario, I would encourage them to check out that CRHP. There's more information about it on CFIB's website. It's a good one to try to help you fund some more hiring or wage increases for your workers.
Okay. Last thing I wanted to ask you, Dan, as we look at the landscape right now across the country, we're obviously moving towards lightening up of a lot of restrictions out there. I think yesterday was it Ontario went into the no passport thing, here in Alberta. Yesterday we started with the no mask requirements, and then a few weeks earlier, the no passports, vaccine passport.
Yep.
Do you get a sense that we're on the road back?
I sure do. I think this is the first time that I really do feel like we're on a steady and permanent pathway to recovery in Canada. Obviously, the events in Ukraine have shaken us all in terms of just international issues. I mean, so there's no shortage of things to stress about. But in terms of the things that are causing restrictions in Canada right now, as you said, most provinces are really quite quickly at the moment eliminating many of the COVID restrictions. For consumers, this is causing some of them to be a little bit nervous because they've been told for 2 years to stay home, and if you leave your house, you might die. So I think there is a little bit of shell-shocked consumers out there that are wondering, okay, is it really all that safe for me to be out? But I'm listening to the messages of public health officials, not just the politicians or from guys like me.
Yeah.
But when you listen to public health officials, they're talking about this quite differently. And they're saying, many of the COVID policies that we've had in place just don't make sense given the nature of the variants that we're seeing right now. I think we should listen to them. And I'm hoping that we can get Canadians back comfortable to return to their offices, to return to the theater, to dine indoors, to travel once again. This is, I do feel like we are on a pathway. Just yesterday, when Ontario's restrictions came off, I went to my gym. I have been going at limited capacity with the passport system. Yesterday, as those tools came off the books, it was busy. And that's a good sign. I haven't seen that in 2 years here in Ontario, because as you know, the restrictions have been incredibly deep compared to Western provinces.
Yeah, exactly. All right, super. Thanks, Dan, for joining us again today.
Anytime, Mario.
All right, that was Dan Kelly, President and CEO of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. I'm Mario Toneguzzi. This has been Taking Care of Business. Thanks for joining us today.